Hello everyone, this is Tret, and welcome to a bit of a theory lesson in New World. This is a presentation that will take about 15, maybe 20 minutes about terms and roles for everyone. That's actually like the fundamental or the basic things that you actually need to know to be able to play well in this game. So we're gonna jump straight into it with the terms and roles for a fundamental understanding. In a war, we're using a lot of basic terms. The first one we use a lot is control. This means that we're unnumbering the enemy and can dictate the gameplay on our terms, which essentially means that if we're 15 on our side fighting 5, we're probably gonna win the fight, and that ensures control. Macro is a commonly used as something in a bigger picture. Attack top right, for example, which would mean that a group leader could go for attack top right of point, but not who, which is micro. So micro is commonly used as something in a more direct and explicit manner. So when we are in top right, the micro player will ensure who to attack. For example, attack Kirito, scream Oblivion. Declump is meant for us to scatter and spread out so we don't get hit by the same shockwave or bombs, for example. When you do this, when you declump, that is, you try to stay close to your group and not distress while doing this. This ensures that no one is... You're supposed to run back to your quadrant instead of just running around like stray sheep, because that will ensure chaos and probably lose the control. When the main caller is calling for a bomb or a collapse, this means that you're supposed to unleash everything on a specific target. Again, example, top right of point. The order is obviously given by the group leader, or like 90% of the cases by the main shot caller. Pre-pot is a term used that you use consumables before a fight. This includes cleanse, regeneration potion, gemstone dust, and or oak flesh. Cleanse means that you are uninterruptible to everything for 5 seconds, which includes the root, stun, blah blah blah, etc. etc. Regeneration potions is removing 1 debuff if you get the perk, and it also gives you the health regeneration until you get hit again. Gemstone dust removes elemental damage and oak flesh physical damage. So this ensures that you can actually do whatever you want to in the fight for the next 5 seconds. If you do this too late, you will probably get staggered, which will give you, which will make you not being able to actually use the cleanse potion, and you might actually die before you're able to do anything. So this is very important. Pre-potting is one of the basic things everyone has to do before a fight, especially when going in through a gate at the fort. Take on the point. Point groups on point, as well as other individuals who are in the area, tiptoe the point. Tiptoe means that you're going in back and forth on the edge of the point, just back and forth. So in point groups will probably stay on point all the time. Everyone on point. This is a Hail Mary, or just when you actually know that you're supposed to, or you're going to win, everyone can be on point. This means the entire roster collapses on point and keeps bodies on it. Defend the point at the outer skirts of the point. This means that if we are 25 people and everyone is on point, we don't stand in a clump directly on the flag. We actually spread out, we declump, even if it's a small matter, but we still declump and fight on the edges and try to keep the enemy out of the circle altogether. When we're capturing a point, there is a max tick rate, which is at the moment at 10 uncontested people. In theory, this means that if we outnumber the enemy by 10 people at point, we're getting the max tick rate. So if there's no enemies on point, we only need 10 people on point, which means the 2 point groups. If there are 20 enemies on point, we need 30 people on point. But that's not how we fight. We actually wipe them up. This is when we bomb or collapse on point to remove them and then go in with the point groups. So mainly the point group's job if uncontested. It actually depends on the specific fight, obviously. The group roles we have 4 different groups. We have the point group, standard group, assassin group, and a musket group. So the point groups get the ticks up and keep the enemy off the point by fighting on the edges and buying time. They create space for the rest of the army so they can more easily defend their own quadrant and push onto the point without clumping. And they also create the enemy clumps as an individual or a pair. Most point groups play 2 bruisers, so the last sentence, creates enemy clumps as an individual pair, means that one of them could engage with the gravity well, the secondary bruiser will follow up with a shockwave, or vice versa. Standard groups ensure control of your assigned quadrants. I'm coming to quadrants later in this presentation. This means that you're supposed to be able to reset in your quadrants, but also help to maintain the army's formation. The army's formation is obviously something that goes through the attack or defense war plan. So everything will change, but if everyone follows their supposed and assigned quadrants, we maintain the formation. This guarantees a stagger of the enemy's desired path to get onto the point and makes it more difficult to wrap around. If this control occurs, the point groups will, for example, not get sandwiched. As I said, I'm coming back to that later. When the quadrant control is ensured, standard groups are also able to support each other to create a number of advantages over the enemy. This gives us the opportunity to get control over the battlefield easier and potential for wraparounds on the enemy. The assassin groups, their job is to disrupt enemy reinforcements and hunt for valuable targets. Occasionally defend our own backline if needed. This is obviously up to the group color of the assassin groups. If you see that our backline is not functioning properly, defend it, help out. If not, go for the enemy healers as a valuable target, but there are other valuable targets as well. Musket groups kill enemy healers and muskets. That's their main job. Onto the specific builds. We got first the bruiser. A bruiser's main role is to maintain the front line, initiate fights, and clump the enemy team. Together with the Void Gauntlet Ice Gauntlet, or the VGIG, who removes the butts of the enemy, you're very dangerous. Your job is to defend your group and destabilize the enemy group's positioning. In your group, someone needs to pressure the enemy healer. This made the bruiser who's not doing the initial engage. This means, like I said before, if I, as a bruiser, would engage the front line, the second bruiser should probably engage the healer to just make it so we can actually win the fight. The main bruiser of the group should do micro calls. And a micro call is who to attack and when. So, the Void Gauntlet and Ice Gauntlet. Your main job is to weaken the enemy team while simultaneously buffing your own. Be close to the bruiser and follow up on their initiation. An initiation could be gravitable, it could also be a shockwave, it could be a menstruum, etc. It could actually be a path of destiny. Just to slow them down. If you can see that you actually are able to scream someone who's being slowed by the path of destiny, that is an initiation. Without unified enemies, you will not die. Blunderbuss Ice Gauntlet, the main DPS of a standard group. With an optimal follow-up from a BB when attacking combat target from a bruiser plus a Void Gauntlet, you can do lethal damage and change the outcome of a fight. This build has the highest survivability potential of any build, which makes you a tanky bastard, so use this as an advantage and be close to those clumps. BBIGs are very good at pressuring healers and then turning on the back of the enemy clump and unleashing everything. This means that you could actually run straight through a fight, push and pressure the enemy healers, and then turn around and fight the front line. The healer, focus on good positioning and keep your team alive by healing. It's actually more important that you as a healer keep yourself alive and safe by good positioning and then focus on healing, but then vice versa. Because if you're not paying attention to your surroundings, the group itself will be put in danger. Communication from the healer is key. For example, Sacred Korukuto, bottom right. This means that you're telling which ability you're using, on who and where. So this is everything we need as the front line. which ability you're casting on us, on who you're casting it on, and where it is navigation wise. As well as calling your own positioning when you need help from the group, and along with healer dead, respawn in 8 seconds. This is everything you actually need to do, but it's also very important that you actually do it. Without this role in the group will eventually die. The muskets pick off enemy healers and muskets. Coordination in a musket group is key, which means that the group leader will call out a target and everyone will follow up on it. So, for example, attack picks in 3, 2, 1, boom, everyone unleash. So there's no time to actually heal the target again. Position yourself as you're not easily targeted by the enemy muskets. It's also very important to know that on defense, most of the muskets will aim for the enemy healers, but on attack they will go for enemy muskets. This is because it's easier to hit the healers from an elevated plane, but on attack you're on the same level, or actually beneath the enemy. Assassin groups, taking out high value targets, mainly healers, but it's not locked to that. It's not locked to killing the enemy healers, but to engage them to make them scatter and not being able to heal. When this occurs, the other groups can take control over the battlefield due to the enemy healers being ineffective, which actually means that even if you don't kill an enemy healer, the group could actually have killed the rest of the group while you were chasing the healer. You're also supposed to disrupt enemy reinforcements. The group leader is supposed to give the macro calls for the group. They get a better overview, so the main job is to actually do the macro groups. This means that you direct when and where the group is going. For example, top left. A group caller's order is to be followed by everyone, even if you think it's the wrong call. And don't start arguing with the call. Just follow it and take it after a war if it occurs. Group leaders will provide the main caller with information and act coordinated to information received from the main caller. This means that if we're attacking A gate, for example, and we're being bombed, we can unleash that, we can give that information to the main caller, and if there's 15 people bombing us, it's probably better to attack C, which is very important for the main caller to receive. Vice versa, if the main caller calls for a bomb on B, it's up to the group caller to decide which road or which way to go to B point. We might not just go in a straight line, or we might. It depends on the group leader. The main caller, he or she is the general of the army and the main caller for everyone. So far this has been Isabel or Corito. They give the main call for that everyone should be following. This includes, for example, where everyone is about to attack or bomb a point, etc. And as I just said, a main caller needs the constant information from the group callers to be able to make effective calls. This is the quadrant system that we're currently fighting with. This is a theory. On the left there's a theory, and on the right it's how it would actually look inside the game. This is not particularly on this point, but this is the best point of view that we could find in game outside a war. So this is actually supposed to be the one of the points outside, just to make it clear. So we got the 2 points point groups on point, and we got 3 and 4 on the very top left side, 5, 6 and 7 beneath, and this actually gives us a triangle. So here in this perfect problem with paint, we're fighting in this triangle, and the enemy is attacking from here because the war camp is up here. So this ensures us that we're gonna fight at this line, and the enemy will fight just next to us, obviously. So when the attack is coming in here, we want to funnel them in here so we can wrap around from everywhere. This is an assigned quadrant, even though it's a circle. And as I said before, this means that if group 7 is holding their quadrant, both 1 and 6 are safe to do something else. But if 7 is over here fighting, 6 and 1 are vulnerable. If 7 dies and there's 15 people coming in here, they can sandwich the point, and they're coming from here and from here, and we're probably gonna lose the point. So it's very important that we keep fighting on the keep in short control of our assigned quadrants. If there's a 15 people attacking here on 7, 7 can fall back, and they can get help from 6 and one of the point groups, or actually 2 point groups, and we can fight here instead. Same thing happens here. All these overlapping are actually where we can help each other. Obviously 5 can fight over here if needed, as well as 3 and 4 can fight over here, but this is your reset point, just outside. And if they come in here, let's look at said for a minute ago, if they come in here, 2 and 1 will probably fall back to around here, and we will fight them here. So 7 can wrap around, 3 and 4 can wrap around, and 5, 7 attacks straight in. And while this is happening, healers will probably be standing here, so 3 and 4 might actually go for the healers. Or the assassin groups can bomb down from the wall. So that's the quadrant system. These are all the buffs and debuffs in the game. There are 5 buffs and there are 8 debuffs, and there are 3 dots. So this exhaust is gonna change after the patch from -80% to -50% as a cap, but it's still huge. Exhausts, you get exhausted when you run out of stamina. So if you double dodge or triple dodge, depending on your stamina pool, you will regen a lot slower and you can't jump. And dodge is probably one of the best survivability thing in this game. So about the buffs, the 3 more commonly ones: Empower, Fortify and Haste. These are the only buffs that everyone is constantly running. Cleanse, obviously when you pre-pot, as we were talking about before. And Heal is a dot, which will get removed eventually. Stun, Slow and Root are from Freedom. If you got Freedom, you remove the duration of these. And the other ones are not worth to actually do something about. And Vigor is the counter towards the Burn, Bleed and Poison. Here's a few tips and tricks to actually get better at the game. Stamina management is, like I said, it depends on your stamina pool and your build. And how does it work? It works like if you got 100 stamina and you dodge twice, you get exhausted, you get 0. So you can jump and you will regen stamina a lot slower. So what you want to do is to stay just above the 0, or actually about 70% if that's actually accurate, depending on your build. For me, example, I want to stay at 70 stamina or 70% because I do more damage because I got a rune glass in my weapon that makes 15% more damage when I attack when I'm not at full stamina. If I go below 0, I will get exhausted, and I will probably not be able to stay alive for much longer because everything is adapting to which abilities I'm dodging as a point player bruiser. Cleanse spots, why are they so important? We talked about it earlier. It's so you can actually be useful. You can actually do stuff. And we had a question before. You can do optimal cleanse spots. You can take it at optimal or more experienced timings, but at the start, if you're new to New World, do it all the time instead. It's better to have used it 10 times without anything being that it wasn't useful than having used it 2 times and 8 times you dead because you didn't use it. Positioning, run straight for the enemy or wrap around. This obviously is a very strange question right on the get-go, because it means that everything is just static, which it isn't. But the thing is that we don't just run straight for the enemy like in the Civil Wars. We don't wait for the enemy and fight and hopefully we win. That's not how we fight. What we do is that we got our targets and we all unleash on the same target, or we pressure the healer. We will pressure the healers. That's very important. And depending on what your build is, you're going to position yourself in different areas. When we're running in or out from a gate, when attacking a fort or defending it, if you run left or right of the door when you came through, you will break the line of sight of your healer. This gives two. First of all, you might not be able to get a heal and you will die. The second part of this is that the healer might actually know that you're doing this and keep following you and put him or herself in a bad position, and probably will die. And if the healer dies, you will die. So if you're gonna do this, if you keep the one side, be clear about it when it comes for your healer, so you can actually dictate this gameplay together. Play duels, 1v1, 5v5, etc. If you are in a 5-man group, you can group duel another 5-on-5 and try to learn from it. As well as 1v1, obviously. Go for arenas and OPRs. Arenas are a bit strange because you obviously end up with at least one random most of the time. So you don't, yeah, you get the point. And OPRs are very useful for the teamwork that's needed in wars. So OPRs are, in the best of world, played with the group that you're in wars with. When we're having wars, we're in one main call and we're in one group called Discord. So if you're new to wars, keep it simple. This means that you should only use your group's Discord and not be in the main call, because there's too much information to receive from both ends at the same call. Listen to people with more experience. Most of the time they have tried stuff which leads to a higher understanding of the game that might be valuable to you. This includes that you might actually have something that you want to try out, but someone already has done it, so don't do the job once more. It's not useful. And there's a lot of people in this guild or this company that actually got a lot of ideas and a lot of experience. So ask around and ask in your specific group chat for Discord. There is a room for every build in the game right now, and there are players that have played every build in the company. You can also watch VODs from older wars and join Discord muted and listen. This means that there are also always VODs from every war that's posted in the VOD screen channel. Check them out, and especially check the ones from your perspective and build. But if there's a war going and you're not on the roster, don't just sit out and do something else. Come join the group chats and join a group and mute yourself. Watch the stream, because one in the group will stream most of the time anyway. You can watch it, learn, and then come with your thoughts about it to the group afterwards. Lastly, this is a game and we're all aware of it. This means that everyone puts in how much they like, how much time they like, and people are always gonna care and be more or less passionate about it. This is, always has, and always will be a fact, but that doesn't mean that the improvement is a negative thing. So if you find a game fun now, with improvement it will get even more fun. Improvement comes from the adaptation and knowledge, which creates stimulation, which equals to success. And success creates joy and laughter, so don't be afraid to improve. That's everything for me. I hope you liked it, and I want to thank everyone who helped me with the information gathering for this. I'm not gonna name anyone specifically except for Farson and Isabel, who helped me the most with this, especially with the phrases, grammar, spelling, etc. So thank you, and if you need anything else, just write in the Discord and talk about it. Thank you, bye.